Well, let's start out by looking at what it's not, and possibly clear up a few common misconceptions. First, REST is definitely not a new way to use HTTP to make remote procedure calls, or RPC. This goes straight to the heart of a common misperception that REST is inherently any architecture that is not SOAP. Now, at the end of the day, the mechanics will probably end up with a function somewhere getting called on a server somewhere. But that's not what I mean when I talk about RPC. In RPC, the design target of a network interaction is a remote function or method, and the goal of an RPC architecture is to abstract away all of the other details of the network so that while components may be interacting over a network, those details are completely abstracted away from the developer who's writing the code. In REST, the design target of a network interaction is a resource, which is something we'll talk about at greater length later on. And the semantics around the remote interaction are not abstracted away at all. In fact, they're made a key part of the design. Second, REST is not HTTP. This may seem like an odd statement, since HTTP is the protocol over which most RESTful interactions happen. However, it's important to make the distinction because it's not that difficult, and because of that, many people do this. It's not that difficult to write an HTTP-friendly application which is fundamentally not RESTful. For example, a service that makes great use of HTTP verbs does not automatically qualify as a RESTful service. Finally, REST is not URIs. I think that the over-association came about because of some really great frameworks like Rails and MVC, which made it really easy to design and manage the URL space with routing. Unfortunately, one side effect of this is that many people I talk to spend a tremendous amount of energy and angst trying to figure out how to carve out the perfect URL space when designing a RESTful service. And we'll see in future modules that URLs have their place in REST. However, they don't paint the whole picture, and starting with URLs makes it very easy to slip back into an RPC way of thinking about your design. So having named a few things that REST isn't, let's take a quick look at what it is. In short, REST is all about style. It's not a protocol, it's not a specific implementation design pattern, it's a style of thinking about and designing your applications. A quick bit of history: it was first introduced by a guy named Roy Fielding in his doctoral dissertation in the year 2000. However, Fielding had been working on the web and on REST for nearly 7 years prior to his dissertation being published. Fielding was one of the original developers behind the World Wide Web, working on HTTP and the URI specifications, and he developed REST as a way to describe the larger architectural concepts behind how the web was designed to work. As Fielding says in his dissertation, the phrase representational state transfer is meant to evoke an image of how a well-designed web application behaves, as a virtual state machine of web pages where progress is made via links.